because of Facebook's new music policies that seem to be getting all of my videos taken down, you guys get to enjoy these new microphones and talking for all of these videos now. There'll be no music. So, that's going to be fun for you guys. Please keep watching, though. We do appreciate it here. It does very smally, tiny help pay for pretty much none of this, but a little portion. Just a tiny portion. We appreciate it. And pass the word on. You know, we're going to be running the 24 hours of Appalachia. That's not cheap. We want to get into Ultra 4. We want to run that Suzuki. None of that's cheap. So follow along, please. It's appreciated. Maybe we'll try to do more to show that appreciation. But anyways, we're going to be getting back onto the JK. I'm going to crawl under here. Oh, man. We got a heck of a mess on this thing. Let's grab our creeper here. So, the motor mount bolts are loose. That's problem number, not really problem, nothing's a problem, right? But they're loose. Fuel lines need connected back here. Maybe we should start by sweeping out underneath of this thing. What's that? A engine knock sensor. That goes here. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff to connect all up in here. Yeah, wonderful. Ground strap. That probably goes right here. See, we got a bunch of stuff to get connected. So, easiest thing is probably start by, getting to what we can get to and go from there, right? Yep. Like, that's our game plan. Alright, well, let's get at it. Let's start by tightening these motor mount bolts down. That way this thing doesn't fall on our face, right? Alright, motor mounts are tight. Now, let's see here. This is going to be our crank single. This is a ground strap. Right? You know what? This might go right here. Yep. I got the fuel lines back here. Get them clicked in. If I can see. Alright, that's on. Alright, that's on. We got those two lines on then. So now we got the transmission mount. That needs some nuts put on that. So let's go see what we got for those. And find our torque converter bolts. So see if we can get them in too. So let's get these cross member bolts in first. Oh gosh. My big old booty hit that stuff. Good. We got 3 bolts. Tighten them down. Alright. What did I do with my other socket? Oh, man. I'm losing my mind. The socket rolled all the way over here. So let's put these right here so I can look for them in a minute when I forget where I put them. You know, to make this easier, what I would have done is put this thing the whole way up in the air, but I was concerned about it wanting to fall off. So I decided this was a safer solution. This is definitely a pain in the butt. Yeah, 100% a pain. Perfect. I may have to take that back out to get that exhaust to go in. We'll see. I had a terrible time getting that exhaust to work the last time. Coming apart. I do remember that. It was very tight. Something's not right there. Don't hit it with your surgically repaired hand. I think my battery's dead. Wonderful. All right. Those are tight. So now, let's see here. So we gotta order a new shifter for the transfer case. That one's broken. The transmission, though, appears to be fine. So we're gonna get that on. Yeah, that one's good. The transfer case needs a bushing. So let's put that on our material list while we're thinking about it. And we'll also grab a bolt for the crank there. Socket for the crank. Right there it is. Oh. Let's get a little screwdriver and we can get that torque converter to line up. Oh. Okay. You know, Jeep could make things so much easier to work on. And I'm not complaining. I worked on BMWs, some Porsches, Audis. I've worked on a lot of stuff. You know, but just as a common courtesy, they could just make something so much easier. Whatever. Get an actual socket on them, though, to torque them. It's just like a terrible location. Trying to get these comfortably tight with this crappy wrench. It's pretty terrible. Oh well. I don't see my other O2 sensor connector. But I have 4 oxygen sensors. Although the other one is further back. So I guess that means potentially it's further back here. Although ouch. I got one here. I gotta find that one. That's a little weird. We're missing a connector. Not cool. It's probably up there. I got some wires that have to fish down here to the starter. So we'll get that done. I guess the next thing, and we'll probably start with that tomorrow because it's getting close to the time I had allotted to be down here, is we'll get this plate on the transmission. Yeah, Get this on the transmission here. Try to get the rest of these wires and stuff that I can see sorted. Yeah. I'm gonna look up there real quick and see if that harness is up there though. See, these are the starter cables. And that's a bell housing bolt, huh? Probably one that we were missing. It's a wiring harness stuff. Oh, man. I don't know. A little puzzling on that one. Well, that's probably the alternator. Yeah, that's going to be our alternator cable. Or these are going to be our alternator cable, and that's our starter. Maybe that's our starter. See, this one's got a bell housing bolt, though, which tells me that it is a starter cable. I don't know. We'll sort through these then. I'm not super worried about that. A little befuddled though on where my other oxygen sensor wire got to. To find that. A little befuddling. I don't know, we'll find it. It's around here somewhere. Let's grab that mount and lay that here so we don't forget that tomorrow. Gotta get this mount put on right there. This is I don't know what we call this. Like a little cross member brace, bottom bell housing brace? Something like that. Right like that. It's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle getting these in here too. Alright, there's that. Snug this one up. Like that. Yeah, one bolt that's longer and head size. It's weird. Maybe I got the bolts mixed up. Maybe it's exactly the right bolt. Who knows? Is that it? It doesn't fit. It's too tight. Size is that? 15. This is an 18? Yeah. Probably got like a 16 or a 17 then. Just for the record, anybody watching this, it's absolutely freezing outside right now. Frigid. And as much as I would love to have this thing done to play in the impending snowpocalypse that's coming, because they're calling for, I don't know, between 3 inches and 23 inches this weekend. Crazy. So we'll see. You guys will be watching this in the future. Future for me, probably the past for you. Well, definitely be the past for you. So we'll see if the weather report's right or not. I'll be very surprised if we get more than 10 inches of snow, because it's been years. I think the last time I remember getting that much snow, my wife and I had just moved into our first house. So like 14, 15 years ago? Alright. So I gotta get one bigger socket. And that mounts on. I did order the bushing I need for that arm. I really want to put the exhaust on, but I don't want to work around the exhaust. So I think what I'm gonna do next, even though I want to put that exhaust on, is I'm going to pull that jack out and lower the sink back down and sort the wires out from up top. Anybody that wants to send me an actual creeper stool, go for it, because this creeper kind of sucks to sit on. And anybody's like, oh, you have a lift the thing up. That's not a bad point. It's really not. But I'm afraid this thing's going to tip backwards off the lift. I just am. As somebody that's had a car fall off a lift when I worked in a shop, it's not a fun experience. You don't ever want it to happen again. So, am I being a little dramatic with this? Yes. I'm okay with that. This is the problem with taking something apart in July, ouch, and putting it back together in January. Oh, what do we have here? It's ECM harness. That's wires. Let's throw this stuff here. Trying to sort through all of this stuff is like the absolute worst part about this whole thing. Alright, so what's this? It's a wiring harness. That's our... What's this? Okay. So let's throw this here. Perfect. I think that goes to our coils. This goes right here. So we can go ahead and clip that together. I think it's our transmission connector if I remember right. So right like that. Clip that guy in. Alright. You know, I hate screwing up. Oops. Okay, so hang on. That doesn't do that. Shoot. Yeah, let's see here. This needs to pop off. Alrighty, and then this. That might not be right. I don't know. It feels right though. I think that's right. It's gotta be right. Yeah. So then that goes there. See, that looks like an O2 sensor plug. But it's like way in the wrong spot. That goes right there, okay. So yeah, then that green guy goes right there. Locks in orange. Black. Okay. Perfect, we got some more connectors there to plug in. And that guy would zip tie right there. You know, maybe that is... I don't know, it's got kind of a long connector on it. It might be right. I should be using, I have some really great magnetic 10 millimeters. And they work fantastic. But I didn't. I think this is the AC compressor, and then the alternator's up here. So this would be power steering pump. So let's start with the AC compressor. These are all the same bolt. Kind of odd if they are, but certainly appear to be. Yeah, stubby 13. I think I'm gonna do these spark plugs next. I'll show you why on camera here in just a second. This header has like a really terrible heat shield. Absolutely terrible heat shield. I'm gonna be honest. eBay header, no, Amazon header, I'm sorry. So we'll see how it works. I'm probably gonna hate it. Probably gonna tear it off and get a better header, but we'll see. It was like $200 for a supposedly equal length header that I can already tell you it's not equal length from looking at it. Didn't even look like equal length in the picture, so it's my own fault for ordering it. But anyways, let me show you what I got going on with these. If you look here, that one's fine to get to. That one's the one that's a problem. The one there in the back here, you can actually get to from underneath. But this guy right here, you gotta reach in over top the starter from underneath to thread it. And I don't even know how we're gonna tighten it. We'll have to figure that out. So it's gonna be a real journey I'm gonna take you on with these spark plugs, I have a feeling. Nice part is with these microphones, you're gonna be able to hear every curse word I say about this. Well, look, what do you guys think? I wouldn't reuse them. You wouldn't reuse them. Guess I'm going to get some plugs tomorrow. I'm not going this far on this thing and reusing them. Now the wires don't look that bad. These look like they were replaced, not recently, but not that long ago. So, where the heck does this go? Oh, right there. Alrighty. We need an oil filter, which I may have. Nope. We need an oil filter and spark plugs tomorrow. And then we can really keep going on this thing. Let's go get some spark plugs from the store. Hit this again once we get them, because I'm getting frustrated. I want to get some stuff done up top here so I can sort out what's left on the bottom. I think I've got a bolt issue. It's not really that big of an issue, but the other thing is I may have some bolts and hardware and stuff in that Samurai, so let's get some stuff cleaned up and then we can kind of pan through that, because my table that's back there that I've got some stuff on, I can clean off at this point. So we'll do that tomorrow, or well, later. Let's go get some spark plugs. Alright, so starting with plug number 1, I gapped it. Try to get it in here. I'm going to try to do the worst one first, which is that one you got to do there from underneath. So I got to grab a little never sees though over here. I think I'm going to put some plugs. My God, this cold is freezing my brain. Some gloves on first. Get that. Get these on here. It's Saturday, 12:15. Snow's supposed to start like 7, 8 o'clock tonight. Although they keep changing the snow totals and the times, and now we're in the ice. And, it's been a mess. The bathroom, my master bathroom, the sink burst already because it was -2 last night. It's like 7 degrees right now. It's terrible. Ooh, let's grab a little never sees yet. I've had people tell me not to put anti-seize on these plugs. But I had a foreman when I was at BMW who basically said he only ever wanted to see never sees, anti-seize, whatever, these. So it kind of stuck with me. I've always done that. So if we come up here, get the camera set up so I can work. Maybe. There. I bet I can get right in through here. Yeah, look at that. Look. That's. I mean, that heat shield is just right in the dang way, though. A 16mm wrench. And can we? No. Man. It's just like in the worst place possible. What if I get a pry bar up in there if I can bend that heat shield a little bit more yet? That was loud. Ow! That was loud again. Oh, that's where I'm at. So for a race application, absolutely not. I would not use these. This isn't really going to be a race. This isn't even close to being a race car. Let me make that clear. So like on the Samurai or the 4800 car, absolutely not. I wouldn't recommend these. Wouldn't use them. I would have sent them right back. But for this, I'll tolerate them. Because this thing, hopefully, should never be getting the spark plugs changed out speedily. Now I'm saying that, and then 2 years from now we'll probably cut to a clip of me trying to change the spark plugs out speedy for some reason, and I'll be cussing my decision to stay with these headers. But for now, whatever. I've made it clear if this motor gives me any issues, it's getting a 5.3 LS. 4L60 or 4L80E, different transfer case, standalone harness, and we're just going to move on from it. So, just to reiterate my point on that. Could have probably saved some money and just done that from the beginning. But you know, and then you got to do axles, go to 1 ton. You got to put some Dana 60s in it, which means you're redesigning how the suspension works a little bit for 60s. And if you can put 60s on, then you can run a 40-inch tire, which means you're changing your body. You know, you're cutting stuff to get 40s on because you got to have tires that match your axles. So, and then you're doing all that, and you're going to coilovers. Why would you put regular springs on here? Before you know it, that LS swap, it's a full-on race buggy sitting in your garage. And then my wife's still mad because she can't drive it on the street because it's not street legal. And then I get yelled at. So the whole point of this project was not to get yelled at. So I think we're making it all right on that. We're going to get this thing done. It's going to be wonderful. Starting to get tight. Oh, perfect. There, perfect. Nice and tight. I'm gapping these to 45 thousandths. I didn't even look up the spec for gap on these. I just usually go with 45. Anyways, automatically. Want to plug. Tight. too far. Too far. Let's tighten it up. Too much, and then we can spread it back out. Oh, shoot. My tool's stuck on the electrode. Crap. Yeah, my tool's stuck on the electrode, and then when it popped off, it like gapped it way too much. So we're just tight. Slightly too much. Perfect. 45 thousandths. That's what we're going for. Always check your gap. I was helping a guy with a misfire here the other day. Works with me, and he was telling me how a couple years ago he did plugs on a 5.3 Chevy, and he put pre-gapped in. And I said, "Well, did you check them?" "Oh, they were pre-gapped." Okay, well, you know, pre-gapped really aren't pre-gapped. We don't trust that. That's like, you know, trusting the government to do anything. All right, so put that in there. I'll tighten this one up with the wrench as well. There it goes. Alrighty. My light fell. All right, that's tight. Okay, so spinning around. I'm gonna finish putting the rest of these plugs in. Gosh, let me stand up here. I'm gonna finish putting the rest of these plugs in after I shut my truck off. I got that running outside just to keep the battery charged. I don't want it to freeze as cold as it is. So I'm gonna finish putting these plugs in, and then I'll jump back. You guys don't need to watch the rest of that. All right, so got all the spark plugs in. See there? Look at that. Beautiful thing. So let's do the spark plug wires next. So we'll get that coil mounted up top there, and then we'll sort these wires out. And there is no numbers. So we'll have to look that firing order up first. Set that right here. And this is an actual picture of the coil, so you can see. Connectors there, facing the same way. 513, 246. So I guess if that's wrong, it's going to be really hard to figure out later on. You guys will have fun with that one. All right, well, let's get this in here, though. Can't wait to get this front axle in this thing. It's like a freaking boat anchor laying around here. I didn't even order the ball joints yet either. That's the best part. I was going to do it this morning, and then we had soccer and everything else, so hopefully I get some time this afternoon. Order that, the wheel bearings I need. I don't know, whatever else is missing for it then. I think that is the plug. Yeah, for the coil. Yeah. Alright, so that clips on there. Grab a 10 millimeter. Ouch! Grab a 10 millimeter and zip them on. that. There's that. Let's zip tie that out of the way, and we'll get all the plug wires. Let's not do the plug wires yet. They're labeled and numbered. Let's... Yeah, let's do the plug wires next. Alrighty. 2 zip ties. That guy clips in like that. Okay, through there. Where's that going? Kind of like that. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. So we put 2 zip ties together. Make a really nice long one. Get down through that guy. Ouch. Alright, there's that. I'll clip them off then. Let me grab these plugs though. Get them. Alright, so the loose ones. That one's not numbered. This one is, and this is 2. So there's 2. Alright, 2. This is a loose one, and that's 4. So there's 4. That one's not numbered. This is 1. Down here. Why would you put angled on those? Why would you make those straight? And what is the sense in that? See, this is where I get irritated. Why? Well, that's probably not a factory part. Still, 1. I'm sorry, 3. What number is this? 5. It's up here. Oops. 1. There's 5, and then this is 1. That's 3. We already have a 3. I clipped 1 and 3 wrong. Gosh darn it. So 1 to 1. Man, I should have failed kindergarten. Oh gosh. There's that. There's the other end. 3 to 3. There. And we'll throw those over there because that's got to be where they go. Statistically, this should be 6. Leave them right there. Okay. Coils plugged in. Alrighty. So next, throw these up here for right now. So next, it's for the alternator. We really should figure out the firing order, but it is about time for me to head to my grandmother's 90th birthday. So I'm gonna hit timeout, pick back up as soon as that's done. Alright, so I just got back from the birthday party. I'm gonna get back on this thing, but I want to show you something here. It's 55 degrees in here, and this thing is just roaring. And I've had it running since I left. It is cold. It's 14. We have a low of 4 tonight, so it's gonna get really cold. So I don't know. Hopefully it's I don't know. Hopefully it's good, but probably gonna shut the back room up there, so I don't need to heat that. So I'm probably gonna shut that before I leave. I got some parts back there. I'm going back and forth right now. But I mean, according to this, that's at 50, 49. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't. It never gets this cold in southern Pennsylvania. Nuts. Anyways. All right, so I'm gonna look up the firing order for this thing, get these spark plugs on. That's going to be the next thing to do. So I'm going to throw my gloves on, look them up. Alright, so what we got here, cylinder 1, which I guess it technically goes like, that's going to change. Anyways, what we have here, cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's kind of how it runs. So I'm going to leave this here just so I can remind myself as I'm going through this, but it's not too complicated. So 2, 4, 6 is on this side, which probably lines up. That's 4, 2, 4, 6. Yep, and they're all my short ones. So 2 is the front one here, so we can go ahead and get that guy clipped on. There's 2. Four is gonna be a pain. We'll get that from underneath. So yeah, look. If you look, well, this is. You guys are seeing what I'm seeing. You can't really quite even see, but it sits right down there. It's up cocked weird. So if you come down here, and look. So I said it's really close. This one's pushed on the whole way. See how that's in the way. There. This one's pushed on the whole way. And this one is really, I think it, by my finger, that one's like halfway up. That one's a little bit more. So it's definitely a little higher, but I think it's on there. I really do. From looking at it, it's definitely up slightly higher, but not much. So, I don't know. I'm going to roll with it for right now. If it's a misfire on that cylinder, we'll come back in here and screw with it some more. I don't really know what else to do with it, to be honest. It's just, I don't know. It's in such a terrible spot. Those are our battery cables. We got to get them connected to the starter then. All right. So, come over here to this side. This one shouldn't be as bad, hopefully. I like to start on the hard side. So I'll get these jumped over and dropped down. That's 3. 3, and then that's gonna be 5. Okay, put that back there. It should be right, I guess. There. Plug wires are on. Let's get the power steering pump and the alternator in. That way we can complete our belt drive here. Now what I did do, and I realized this the other day when we were mocking some of this up, I apparently lost the bolt here for this guy, because I have this real long one here, and that ain't right. I have a feeling that may be one of the bolts that's down there on the starter. So I'm going to leave that stick out for right now. I'm going to use it to mock this up, but I'm not going to final mount this thing or put the belt on until I have that fixed. And then this here is a bracket, of which I have. And this goes like, I think something like this. Wait, no, that's not it. This goes, oops, this goes on here. Like that. Okay, that's that. While we're up here, this battery cable, of which I routed back here, that's not gonna be right. It goes like this by the picture. And here, and then it's held on by a little clip here, so I'll zip tie it. 13? Oh yeah. Okay, it's on. Clip that guy on. Alright. We'll clip that on. Alrighty. So now, that's not that. What do we got here? That's our alternator. It's a round plug. That looks like our compressor. Yep. Oh, hang on. It's got these silly locking tabs that Chrysler does. There. Oh my. Get that on. I don't know where that goes yet. That's probably a line pressure sensor for this line here. So that looks like that's all good there. And that is a 16, I guess, not a 15. 16? Yeah, look at that. Perfect. 16 on there. Let's do this power steering pump now. Oh, wait. That goes in just, man, I'm telling you what, my hand ain't holding on to squat. Okay, where's my socket? And that is the feed line. Oops, that goes here. Maybe. There. Alright, let's grab a wrench for that. Alright. I feel like that had a clamp or something on it. Oh, you know what? That's how that went. And this, like that. Haha. I'm so smart. Alright, and then that probably went right here. Yeah, it did. So we'll get that on there. Come on. It's such a silly little clamp. There we go. Perfect. Got that guy on. So that's all buttoned up. That's on. We gotta find that bolt. We think that's underneath. What do we got here? Some heater hoses. Figure out where these go. I feel like that guy should go there. But where does that guy go then? Oh, no, you know what? I got him like this. There. Yeah. Right like that. And right like this. That feels right. And that feels right. So let's clamp them on. See, look, we're dripping. We're leaking coolant here. It means we're getting somewhere. Starting to have fluids again to bleed. Instead of making me bleed, making my pocketbook bleed. Alrighty, let's get that clipped on. There. Oops. Oh, come on. Killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Ah! Come on. Hey, get this guy on. Okay. Oops. Got our clamps on. These coolant lines are tied in now. I think those are right. Jeez. Let's call it quits for tonight where we're at now. Tomorrow we'll raise this thing up. And I think just double check everything from the bottom. We're looking for that one bolt yet. And then we'll start with getting the exhaust on. And then probably the axle and the control arm sorted out. Let's call it quits. It's been an hour. I'm gonna go play some games with my wife. Probably get in trouble. Go from there. Alright, snow update. I'll measure it here for you. Grab a tape measure actually. It's quite cold. Furnace or pellet stove is running full bore. 55 degrees. Although I did just have the door open. I think it was at 60. But here's the real thing. I shut these doors last night back here. Look at that. That back room is 39 degrees. So in here, it's freezing. Now I do have another heater in my actual wood shop. So that's holding at 53. It's crazy. I don't even know what the temperature is outside. So I didn't even look. I think it's like 11. It feels absolutely frigid. But yeah, let me give you an update here. So we've just finished blowing the driveway off the best we could. I broke the shear pin here, right there. So that sucks. This one's still good. I hit the ground rod on my pole building. So, got to fix that. Hopefully I have a bolt for that. And then the chain came off here. It's a little wrapped around the axle, but it didn't really hurt anything. So we'll get that fixed. But I blew it off the best I could for right now. Sounds like it's starting to sleet now, which is even better. So we currently have about 7 inches of snow, and it's sleeting. Like they said was going to happen. It's wonderful. just wonderful. So we'll wait for the snowblower to thaw out. Probably start goofing with the JK after I go up and have a cup of coffee and warm up. That's where we're at. Good time in Pennsylvania. Let me know in the comments where you guys are at and how your time's going. Gonna run this thing up now and work on some stuff from the underneath. So I think I've pretty much got everything up top that I can do till I'm ready to put the battery and stuff in. Like, and that's all easy to get to. Or hang the front. And I want to get this axle in before I hang that front end. Let's reset that lock because I don't. Yeah. See, that one's not resetting.
Anyways, I haven't been over here just doing a whole lot of recording.
That one reset. The other one didn't. So.
See, you got a radiator in it.
Yes, that turned into more faster than I thought it would.
There it goes. Now we got it reset.
Right now.
I think that's good. Without that weight all hanging in the front here, it's just so light. What we've got to do in here, if you look, we're missing a bolt here That's a,
beauty bezel.
I think one of these bolts right here.
Plastic in. That's why this one's a little crooked.
Yeah,
So I think what I need to do is go up here
we'll fix it. So you had to move the radiator
and get around there
back
and actually
because the
take
radiator mounted, like,
that bell housing
here.
bolt
It was-
out, put it here,
almost touching the throttle button.
It would have been
and then put that one in there, and then I can hook the starter and stuff up.
get a little 3-inch elbow.
So
If the main touch the
let's
bed, most of our
let's
build-
go ahead and get that done
Most of the build is gonna touch
and
it.
Yeah.
see what that leaves us.
So
All right, so I got the wiring all on the starter here. That's good. There's a ground cable right here. I don't quite know where that goes. By looking at this, it almost has to go like right here. I don't really feel like that's 100% right. I feel like it wants to be like right here or something. Or like right there, but there isn't really a bolt. That doesn't look like that had a bolt in it. You wouldn't really put it on a bell housing bolt. So I'm gonna probably just throw it right like this onto one of these starter bolts. But I've got an issue going on. Oh, something like that. Anyways, but I've got an issue going on. I was fighting with that alternator mount because I had this bolt that was way too long, which is, I took one of these out, that fit perfectly there, but that bolt is just way too long. So let me see if I got some of these. I must have,
I'm just gonna say this.
I don't know, at some point I must have misplaced or, I don't know, mishandled some of these bolts. And like everything I have left here is all rusty, so I don't know, must have used something in the wrong place, I'm not really sure. But anyways, if I come over here to my parts bin, set you guys up here. Come over here to my parts bin. Oh, I got a bunch of bolts. I might have found something semi-promising. They're a little short. Let's go check these out. Yeah, that ain't biting by nearly enough. And is it the right bolt? Oh, it is.
there's literally no rings up front. You look at LJ and you're like, oh.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put these in here just in case I forget. At least there's something on there.
There's no room.
I have one good starter bolt in.
Placement is on this. We have to do this.
Not sure
I don't know exactly what
that one even had a bolt in it, to be quite honest, as gunky as that hole is. But I'm gonna tighten them up. 16ths.
And then the next
Wouldn't have guessed that.
Roll that would still allow a radiation, clear engine assembly, and all that.
Because our radiator's coming out.
That's good.
There's a shy bolt
That's our breather.
for the rear. So this
needs
thing,
to go
if he turns all the
top
lights on
there.
this, it's gonna be daylight. The reason that
All right. So let me get the breather sorted, and then I gotta run up to the house and grab the bushing for the transfer shifter
How'd you see
case
we have
linkage.
a lot of stuff going down right through this frame rail? There's no
And then I'll
way
just double
exhaust
check
is
everything
going
one
down
more
to
time, and I think we're ready to
So we're gonna have to
put
get
that exhaust in. So I got all the control arms set up to go in here.
Add that, you know, suspense.
Oh, I'm gonna hit my mic or my camera stand. So I got all them set up. But first, the last little thing we got to do before we put that exhaust in and then start hanging them, these silly little transfer case bushings. Mine was like completely missing. So we would have went for 4-wheel drive in this thing and we wouldn't have even had it. So we'll take one of these. I ordered a 2-pack. In case something happens, we'll have a replacement. I like to kind of put together little parts kits for the vehicles that I off-road and keep them in them. So this would be no different. This seems like a little part that would be good to have in there. So that snaps in there.
I've done some under the hood.
Yeah, you got a grill mount? Look at those grill
Considering how easy it was to find online,
So
I'm assuming you Jeep guys can probably comment on it. But it must be something that
to see if it would.
there's some issues with. Let me grab a light here. I went to grab a light. It's still hanging up there.
So
Yeah, so you're talking about this hole, right? Giving it like a
Alrighty.
yeah, it'll have
How does that
strength to it. Yeah. So we'll do that before they go to powder. We got our lower grill mounts, and we're doing a KC headlight.
That's clipped
also to
in.
match the
That's popped in, so that's all good.
as what's on
So I really think we're ready now.
But it's an actual headlight.
Casey makes, yeah.
We got our coolant overflow.
Yeah, I think we're ready now to get that exhaust in here. All right, problem number 3,992. I can't get the exhaust in with that transmission cross member. So now I've got a pull jack on the transfer case. I'm gonna zip that transmission cross member out and put the exhaust in and then put it all back in. So we love doing things 700 times. It's just, it's wonderful. So let's get that zipped out and get the exhaust in. Got cross member lowered. Now let's stick the exhaust in. I'm gonna grab one more pull jack too, just to hold that thing when I get it up in there.
Somebody can help me out with this, but
Okay.
nobody on the internet has a 380 model of a Ford 10 1/4 rear Dana 60 axle, which is also I think the same as a 10 1/2.
Perfect.
The best I can come up with was
So much better.
a section.
I'm striking out in the hardware department. Just tell me if you've ever seen this before. I literally just zip tied the manifolds on there for now so I can keep going. Throw it over there in my I need to get bolts for it pile. So we got it pretty much up in there. I'm wrapping up putting that transmission cross member on. And then we'll start hanging some arms here. And then I guess we'll start going back onto the JK. So, yeah. See how it keeps going. Alrighty. Gonna start hanging these upper arms first. I don't really know if there's a left or a right, because I'm not really sure. I don't think it matters, to be honest. So these go in here, and then there's a captive nut that goes on the back side. I'll feed that in here in a second. So I'm gonna get the lower arms too, everything in there just hanging, and then we'll lower it down and get the axle all fed through. I mean, come on now. I literally ran a ratchet strap, hold this thing onto the lift. Right through there. So we'll hook it up here, strap it back down to the lift. Man. Alright, so I got all the arms on here now. Gonna lower it down. I don't have the yeah, whatever, that arm. Anyways, I'm getting tired. I don't have that in. But I think I'm gonna leave that out till I get the springs and everything on here and the shocks, and then I'll stick that in. That one shouldn't be too bad. So let's lower this back down, wheel the axle under here, and wrestle with getting this axle in. Alright, we're ready to lower it down now. Pull our locks here.
Of course, they need to pull this GPS, they need to make sure to hit all of the checkpoints, and they need to make sure that
Wait, know what those are.
hit all of the waypoints.
I got little parts and pieces all over the place. I'm not sure what it goes where. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
He's still behind Cody Webb, who has 6, but that could be unofficially. That is
It's left over when we're all finished. We just don't need any of it, right?
15 to 20 minutes faster than they thought.
I do want to pull up a picture of this kit installed on JK and make sure that I have these arms facing the right way. I'm not 100% sure that I do. Okay. Let's roll this thing under here, and then let's check to make sure we got these arms going the right way first, and then we'll start hooking them up.
Super cool right now. It looks like we do have Ryder LeBlanc, and he's got a rider behind him. I wonder if that could be Max, right? Because we do know that he's a closer shot.
We have to get a chat with Max in regards to that to see, do you really miss being in the front of the competition with the other guys, or are you really enjoying your leader position here for Team Motos?
I think it's probably a yes and.
All right, that is correct. The way we have them, or at least everything I can find online. So don't comment and tell me it was wrong after the fact. That doesn't help me. So go ahead and get these arms in here. Start by getting these upper ones. I have to lower this thing down just a bit. Actually, these lower ones may be the easier ones to get in. Down here on the ground like this. Yeah, there, perfect. Let me grab a bolt for that guy.
Motor Company, Monster Energy, Optima Batteries, and Can-Am. And that is right on the line, getting the checkered flag in 5 laps at the 2026 Motorcycle and Coffee King of the Motos is done. He is probably ready to go sit next to Tristan Hart, hang out for a little bit, take a couple deep breaths, drink some water, eat some food, and enjoy his second place finish.
Come on.
Third,
There he is.
last year behind Tristan and Will. So Cody Webb had to settle for 4th place last year.
That one's in. Let's get the other side in now. Okay. So now this guy, oops.
And we will be seeing him again. I guarantee you that, Brian.
Which way did I go? I went in. Try to keep them all consistent. There we go. There we go. Now we can roll that like that. We'll probably come down with our, let's come down with our lift a little bit. Get that one there better. Now this guy. Oop. Now come on. Roll back. Probably have to go down just a bit. Let me try to get that other side on. Definitely helps to have a second set of hands when you're putting axles and stuff in. Yeah, see, we're we're too low yet. Let's leave that sit up there and just bump it down just a touch. Still not do it, huh? There we go. That was close. Come on. Oh, come on. There. Now we're really close. Come on. There. Perfect. Perfect.
The first 2 laps was pretty basic. The first lap I had 1 top uphill. The second lap I had 1 top uphill too. And yeah, I dialed in this year. It wasn't like last year, I had my fingers to deal with. And, I was just struggling to ride this year. I knew right away that I was just going to go for a push.
Alright, ouch. Man.
Did a couple navigation errors. Had a crash and broke my shifter, so I was kind of stressing for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh god, this ain't good. And then yeah, I got here.
Alright, we're close now.
Yeah, broke it, lost it, whatever happened there on that first lap, changed it out, went back out, and just, that was cool. Got to get some feeling on what's going on there.
Perfect.
Run their shifters.
Alright, so we got all our bolts in. Put a nut on here, and then we'll tighten all this stuff up here in just a second. I like to get the springs on it and get some weight under it. Oops. And then tighten it up. It's just the way I like to do it. So honestly, it is what it is with that. But so what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the springs. All right, so I got the track bar mounted up over there so we can get that in then. I got this thing literally just hanging now. It won't go any lower. So I got my spring sitting here, but I'm going to have to compress the spring. This thing did have a Terraflex, I don't know, like a 1-inch, I guess it was like a leveler kit on it, but I want to just ride right on these springs, so I pulled that out. And I'm going to use a spring compressor and compress these springs here and get them back on here. So let's try that, see how we go. Okay, that coil spring's on. I'm liking it. So we got to do the other side yet. I do have to use the coil compressors to get it on. It's just not enough flex. There's rock crawler arms. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I have them on right, but they're limiting out on the bracket there, which maybe you would get a little more flex if they went the other way, but you'd be hitting on that, and everybody appeared to have them on this way. So I don't know. Comment and tell me if they think that's wrong. That's also a crap load of flex right there. Like, yeah. I mean, if you were that far into it, you'd be, I don't know, really doing something. So I don't really think that's a problem. So let's get the other spring on. We're getting close to 4 o'clock, and I gotta go snowblow again. So I might try to pause here and fix the snowblower, and then see if I'm gonna jump back into it or not. This is where we're at. That driver's side spring's in. All the arms are in, except for the trailing arm. I got not a trailing arm. Whatever. I keep forgetting the name for that thing. Anyways, that guy's just laying there. I gotta get this thing up at ride height and then I can get it in. It's gonna need some adjustment. I know that. But I have the gray line tools, so we'll do a pretty cool tutorial on how to use that when it's time to do this thing, and hopefully it'll align all of our axle straightness and center lines and left and right, and we'll see how good it is. Versus just doing some string lines, which is what I've done in the past. So I got this spring yet to put in, shocks once we get it up where it goes. Ball joints should be in this week, and then we'll get them pressed in, and knuckles on, axles in, wheel bearings, kind of keep going. As far as a weather update, it is frigid. The wood stove is just not keeping up. Pellet stove, whatever. We are sitting at 49 degrees. I gotta fill the hopper again. We're on level 3 because I just can't keep running it wide open. It's just ripping through pellets. But it's like 6 degrees outside. It's supposed to be colder yet tonight. It's crazy. But anyways, this coming week, like I said, that's kind of what we'll get into. It's probably going to be sort of a slow week. I got snow removal and stuff for work, and not sure how much time I'm going to get down here. But then the following week, hopefully the weather gets a little bit better. I'll get down here and we'll get some more done.